down to the end of 2022 and Hancock's gone. We've got Sajid Javid in. Sajid Javid is a banker with Deutsche Bank originally. No medical experience or scientific qualifications as I know to. He became health secretary. What I do know is that there were 6 qualified doctors on the Conservative benches. And I know that every one of those qualified doctors went to see Sajid Javid and implored him not to authorise the jabs for under-18s. And he listened to them, and he authorised them. And I will ask you to note that he stood down at the last election, and they gave him a knighthood. Right? My concerns had grown and grown and grown, and then when I heard that the Medicines and Healthcare Product Regulatory Agency wanted to authorise the jabs for toddlers under 5s down to babies of 6 months, I knew that I had to stand up and stop it. There's not a healthy child of that age has died of COVID anywhere. We've already got the Fryman papers. I knew that 1 in 800 would have a serious adverse event, including death potentially. I also knew that the vaccines they rolled out were not the vaccines that got emergency use approval. We knew that because I'd written to Rishi Sunak in August 22. How did I know? Well, I worked with a sociology doctor and criminology doctor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem called Josh Getchko, and he'd worked out from the papers, and you could play it back to what our experience in the UK. You'll remember when the mass vaccine rollout came out, on day 2, they told you that you've got to spend, on day 2, the MHRA changed the rules, and you've got to stay in 15 minutes at the vaccine centre. They didn't do it on day 1, they did it on day 2. They weren't expecting anaphylactic shock response because that was not in the papers. And the reason that wasn't in the papers is because the vaccines that were given approval, they actually made the DNA strand, the mRNA strands, using a PCR machine to multiply them up. Very slow, very expensive, very little contamination. But the vaccines that were produced, that were given into people's arms, were actually multiplied up using bacteria like E. coli. You've got the DNA contamination in there from the bacterial nuclei, the plasmids. You've also got contamination from the bacterial cell wall, endotoxins. That's where you've got the anaphylactic shock. So the MHRA knew that the vaccine they'd approved and was going into people's arms on day 1, when they changed the regulation, you had to stay there for 15 minutes, they knew it wasn't the vaccine that they'd approved. So the vaccines that we had in our arms, they were untested. And their evidence would show they're at least 5 times more harmful than the ones that they gave approval for. That was 1 in 800, and they want you to have 10 of them over a period of time. You're playing Russian roulette every time. So I knew that we had to stop this. And I knew there'd be a massive backlash from the establishment. I'm not stupid, I'm not politically naive.